In this episode of my podcast, Relentless Life on Your Terms, Season 2, Episode 11, I sit down with Christian Williams. Christian is a bodybuilder from Wales who's currently living in Dubai, who's won multiple events around the world, has represented his country, and has even been on stage in Mr. Universe. We talk about the importance of nutrition, training to release the right endorphins for you to be in the peak state, and what it takes to have the right mindset to excel in any career. If you're interested in bodybuilding, nutrition, or fitness, this is one episode you don't want to miss. Remember, if you like my content, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. Hello and welcome everybody. In this episode of my podcast, Relentless Life on Your Terms, I have a special guest of mine who I feel like I know. We've been in touch a lot through social media. Christian Williams, thanks for joining us, mate.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure, and I've been looking forward to this since the invite a few weeks ago, so thank you.
Now, Christian is actually a professional bodybuilder. He's a coach, coaches people all around the world, just about to finish his moment. Tell us a bit about the great world of bodybuilding. How did you get into bodybuilding, and what has that done for you?
Okay, so bodybuilding took me back many years ago. I kind of come from a very rough part of South Wales in Merthyr Tydfil, which is full of violence, crime, and drugs. And unfortunately, not many people come out to this place. It kind of acts a bit like a spider's web, as much as I'm a proud Welshman. And I stumbled across the weights room many years ago, and I was able to vent that frustration and that peer pressure I felt from above, that negative energy, and fuel into a positive light, which changed my physique. It built my strength, which developed a mindset needed to go on to compete as a bodybuilder. So as my physique started developing, I realized that I might as well compete because I was doing all of the above. And I started meeting more like-minded people from a young age, from like 15, 16, people that I could now relate to, that was taking me down this positive route. And like I said, since then, I kind of been like competing, representing the UK in the World Championships. I've traveled the world. I've met so many like-minded people. I've been able to help so many people because I've become passionate to help other people go from where I was to where I've become. And it's a mindset that's kind of instilled in me up until this day, really. And I'll be able to use the principles of bodybuilding in many parts of my life: the discipline, the determination, the sacrifice. And no goal is unachievable. You know, I was born, like I said, in a rough part of South Wales. I didn't have the best genetics, but through hard work, through my own graft, through seeing and visualizing something in my mind, I was able to bring that to fruition and develop a very competitive physique. So I can carry that on in many parts of my life.
Well, I think you're quite modest because, look, I've always loved the sport of bodybuilding for many, many years. All the way from the Lee Haney days to the Ron Coleman days to Phil the Gift Heath to Jay Cutler. I love bodybuilding. I love what it represents because people think you just go train for 2 hours and off you go. But to play so deep in the Mr. Universe and represent your country, you obviously do have to have a great physique. But bodybuilding, from what I've read and understood, and I have a lot of friends that are bodybuilders, and I mentioned to you off air that I had a friend who won the Mr. Universe. It's a 24/7 gig. It's not just walk into the gym for 1 to 2 hours once or twice a day. It's eating, it's sleeping, it's mindset. It's just relentless. It's such a tough thing to get to a high level. And when I see people like yourself that have achieved an amazing physique and a mentally tough mindset, I can only imagine how hard it is. And I appreciate it because I know how much hard work must go into anything to get to that level. So, and I saw that post you put when you were 15, why you were attracted to the weight room and why you always go there to let out your frustrations, to grow, to build your mindset. And for those who never saw that, and I do suggest following Christian because when it comes to mindset or bodybuilding, he's fantastic and he always motivates me. Tell us a bit about that story when you were 15. What attracted you to the weight room? What was it, the discipline? Was it the training? What was it exactly? And it's just a place to vent and grow. What was it?
So first, before we go into that, I'd go back a few years. My father died when I was 6 years old, okay? So I was brought up without a father. So my mum provided me with everything that she could, but my kind of appetite was more than the menu she had. I always wanted more. And I knew at a young age, and especially because she used to discipline me by taking, once I got to a certain age where her slapping me no longer hurt, She disciplined me by taking away my goods. So she'd come into my bedroom and take my console or my whatever I was using at the time. So I learned at a young age that if I provide for myself, if I work and earn the money, and if I don't rely on anybody, nobody can take anything away from me. So I had a milk round at the age of like 10 years old. I would get up at 4 a.m. I would go on a milk round. Then I would go into 2 paper rounds. Then I would go to school. Then I'd come home from school and I'd be selling VCRs and I'd just be trying to make money. And up in, since I was a young age, everything I had, I owned. I was buying tracksuits. I had my own music set, DJ box. So I learned at a young age that nobody owes me anything and it's down to me, whatever I want, I can have. So the bodybuilding, like the lifestyle, almost suited me because it's a very selfish sport. You don't really rely on anybody. You just rely on yourself. So once I found the weights room and I realized that obviously, I come from playing football and rugby for my team and my football local team and obviously school team. It was a sports team, a sport event. So once I found bodybuilding, I realized that it was just down to me. It really fitted me. The downside was it became a gift and a curse because all through my career, it was very great because I could use it to my advantage. But then once I reached a certain level, I was still in the mindset that I didn't need anybody, that nobody could help me, that I just rely on myself. And it was the same with my business. Up until probably a year and a half ago was the first time I started asking for help. The first time I started employing people, the first
And
time
the business you're referring to, Christian, is training people around the world, yeah, for the people that are listening. Is that the business you're referring to?
Yeah, I mean, like all parts of my life, even the fact of like my wife, we've been together for 12 years. And up until probably a year ago was the first time she started cooking my food and prep my meals. Not because she didn't want to, but because I was so stuck in my like mindset of it's just down to me. Only I can do this. I don't rely on anybody, which kept me quite small. But obviously, since I've been opening up more, my business has been flourishing, my relationships have been getting better. But going back to 15 years old, there was a moment, an incident when I was 15. I was walking home from school and I was very upset by the way somebody said I looked. This girl that I had a crush on threw a pencil at me and hit me in my chest. And I said, ow, my chest. And she looked at me and she laughed and she said, your boobs, they're bigger than mine. And I looked down and I looked at her and I was like, you're probably right, because I was like a junk food junkie. I was a chubby teenager. I had everything in sight. But I was walking on that afternoon and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of the way I look and I'm tired of the way it's making me feel. I'm getting fat. So it was the last day of 6 weeks holidays. I was on the way home and I thought, you know what? In this moment, I'm not going to eat anything I consider bad for me. I'm going to go running every single day, do press-ups in the bedroom, and I'm going to change the way I look and come back to school 6 weeks later and prove everybody wrong. I stuck to what I said I was going to do. I didn't eat anything bad, running press-ups every day. I came back 6 weeks later and I was shredded. I was the most ripped boy in school, honestly. Every single person in school, if you talk to anybody my age now who's in my school, they would remember this moment. Everyone was talking about my transformation. It was just, even my mum thought I was taking drugs because it was so extreme, from one extreme to another. But what this taught me was two things. One, once I apply my 100% focus in anything, I can achieve fast results. Anybody can. I'm no different, but the only difference is I've seen it happen. I went from a chubby food addict to a fitness fanatic. And two, that the difference, the lifestyle, the fitness lifestyle lead to. I came back to school, the attention I was getting off the females was just something I wasn't used to. All my academics improved because my focus was better, because I was lighter. I was made captain of my local football and rugby team. And I mean, just like the lifestyle, I was thinking, I'm addicted to this way of life. Fitness is my root. And since then, like I said, I just started staying in the weights room. I married something that I knew was conducive to making me feel better. And I divorced something that was not, which was, the people I was hanging around, the, environment I was in. And from then, this is what led me to where I am today.
It's a big thing too, because a 15-year-old to have that moment. So obviously that girl made a big impact and helped you very much to see that lifestyle and that mindset, because where your energy go, where your focus is, your energy always flows. So you focus on a better transformation, your energy focus towards that, and hence the outcome, which is absolutely amazing, which is really good. Let me ask you, give me one day in the routine of Christian Williams. What does it look like? Now, I know you get up very early because we discussed that off air, and I read a lot of your posts, but if you were to give me a summary of your day, what would it look like, a typical day?
Pretty much most days are the same, because over here me and my wife, we have very little weekends at the moment. We just really focused on our goals. So again, I get up at 4:35. I take the dog out for a walk, do his little morning run. I come home, I have my shower and my breakfast, which my wife now prepares for me. Protein pancakes with some oats and some banana. So I'll have them. Then I'll make my way to my first client in the morning at 6 a.m. I'll train around 4 clients back to back, usually. So I'll have a client at 6, 7, 8, 9 a.m. Then I usually train at 10, doing some more cardio after my training. So by 12 o'clock, I've already trained 4 clients. I've walked the dog, I've showered, I've trained myself. And then I usually come home, because the dog's at home on his own. I'll spend a few hours on the laptop doing some program designing, tweaking some nutritional plans, do any meetings that my assistants booked in, any consultations and appointments. This will take me up until around 3:30. I'll go back to the gym. I'll train 2 clients usually. And then I'll have some online clients where I just do discussions, consultations, helping them with their goals. Again, I'll take another client, I'll come home, I'll walk the dog, and this will take me up until about 10 p.m. And then I usually always I'll either watch some TV, purely for 2 reasons, or I'll read a book. It just depends on what I'm feeling. Being an entrepreneur, being in Dubai, my mind is really active. So constantly I'm thinking about the next move. What can I do? How can I help? I'm cramming everything into the day I have. So that 1 hour before I go to bed, unless I detach, I really struggle to sleep. So I either watch something, and it could be anything. Although I tend to try to watch things I can benefit from, even if it's a movie. If I can get some inspiration, some motivation, or some, just a little bit of an advantage from watching it. And then that kind of relaxes my mind, and I go to bed, and then it's good. And usually I do some meditation in the day as well, wherever I can fit that in, if it's in the evening or it's in the morning, depending.
So having a lifestyle of a bodybuilder, or any successful person for that matter, what you've summarized, it's about routine and structure, isn't it? It's about having, because something that's in your routine, like training or bodybuilding for that matter, it's got to be embedded in your daily routine. Otherwise, you're not going to do it every day consistently. You're going to miss a beat, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, look, to do bodybuilding on a, any level, I guess, to be competitive and to pursue a career in anything in life, it takes a lot of sacrifice. And it takes a little bit of craziness. There's often times where I just laugh at the way I am. I'm like, you go to the gym, you're pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion, literally, where sometimes you feel like you're going to die. Then after that, you can't walk for a few days because you're in pain, and you can't sleep because your nervous system is shot. And you're doing this for pleasure. And people avoid doing this all day long. I mean, they would do anything not to go for this pain. So there's very sadist mindset sometimes that comes in. And again, going back, if you don't mind me touching on it, because when I was 15 years old, obviously I had a lot of negative energy, a lot of anger, a lot of pain, a lot of aggression, just from people I was around, I guess, and the place I was in. And I was able to vent that frustration, as I said. The downside of that is I felt like I needed to be in that mindset to achieve any great success in bodybuilding. So I would drive to the gym, and I would listen to heavy metal, and I would get my body pumping, and walk into the gym with a face just don't talk to me because I'm going to you up, and if you do. Not that I felt like that, but I felt like I needed to be in that state of mind, because that's what led to the results before. And in between sets, I would go up and down and pant, and I'd really think of negative thoughts. I think, you're not good enough, or I'm not good enough, am I? I'm going to prove you wrong. And I'd go through all these thoughts to get me through. And it was only until I started learning about the, neuroplastic mindset, and how, like you said, when energy goes, or focus goes, energy flows. I started realizing I'm creating a very negative mindset. As much as I'm using it for a positive way, I'm like calling myself bad names in my mind to spark that beast to go to war. You know, and I just thought, like, you know what, this is not, it's not an ideal environment that you want to create. So through my meditation, then I started learning ways how to just focus on nothing, just focus on my breath and just be in peace with the workout. It sounds really against everything I learned up until that point. What I was able to do by having a clear conscience and a clear mind and just focus on the movement and the activation of muscle and try to visualize what was going on inside rather than outside, not only did my reps like double, not only did I, you know, recover better in between sets because my heart rate was lower, but my physique changed far better. So, and then now I just, again, there's a time and a place, and this is where this bull mode comes from, because, you know, our logo, the bull mode, you know, the bull is very calm in the field, minding his own business. But when it sees red, it gets 100% focused to where it needs to go. And this is what I try to teach to my clients, and this is what I kind of practice, is I could be the most genuine, the placidest guy ever. But when I'm focused on my goal, you better get out of the way, because there's only one thing I'm going towards. And it's the same with the gym. I could be the nice guy, but when I got that bar on my hand, I swear, you know, you better look out, because I'm not putting it down until I can't. And it's that type of mindset, you know?
Love that. And obviously the bull thing is very special to me because my
Yeah,
company's a bull. And for me, bull means growth, bull market,
yeah,
and means strength. The horns,
yeah,
intuition, you've got to be sharp. And also, when it attacks, you're not stopping it. So that's why when I saw bull mod, I really like that.
yeah.
Christian, I'll ask you for the listeners out there. Um, give me a couple, obviously, mindset's very important. Give me some dietary tips. Why is it important to train? Give me a couple pointers for a beginner. Why is it important to get into the gym? Give me some good dietary habits, and then we're going to discuss, obviously, a couple of your things that you look at as well.
Well, obviously, you know, fitness and health are very important, not just from a visual standpoint, but obviously for the mindset, for one. It can teach you the discipline, the foundation you need moving forward for life. That's the truth. When you work out, the positive endorphins that get released, just something that just can't come or be bought in a Tupperware. Unfortunately, there's so much prescription for people with depression, for mental illnesses, and the working out to be proven. I mean, like anybody who's done a morning run or gone to a gym class, look at it like this. When people go to a gym class, they give the first class for free. Okay, usually because they know after that class, you're going to feel so good, the positive endorphins are going to release, you're going to buy in, you're going to sign up for more. It's a very smart marketing tactic. So when you work out, it releases all these endorphins. You feel great. You feel amazing. Not only that, but when you set small challenges and goals on a daily basis with working out, once you achieve these, the foundation this can set up is just tremendous. I mean, the difference is with fitness goals is it's instant. You could run today and you could do 1 mile, and then tomorrow you run, you could do 1.5 miles. The day after, you could do 2 miles. And that shows you and teaches you what you can do if you're just relentless, you know, when you just don't give up and you keep pushing forward. So it's very important for more mindset. And obviously, you know, you get to look good on the beach, you get to get all the girls you want to get, and you know, you get to arm wrestle the guys in the pub, whatever you're into. But there's a lot of positive benefits that come from working out, definitely.
One of the many people that I know that actually they got COVID, and I saw your post. Don't comment, I'm fine. And obviously that's about mindset, and you're just going to do it anyway. And I said to Alex, look, a Christian's not well, but I'm 99.9% sure he's going to show up on the thing anyway, because he's not going to stop. Because if it was in reverse, then and I had COVID, I was on a stretcher, but I could talk. I'm showing up. I go, I'm pretty sure he's going to do the podcast, even though he's not well. And when she said he's in, I go, I would have been shocked if you said no, because I just know, I kind of feel that I know how you think in terms of mindset. You're going to do it no matter what. So I appreciate you very much for coming on the show, even though you're not 100% and you've got COVID, and you're still training people and you're still doing what needs to be done, which a lot of people sit in the bed and feel sorry for themselves, but I knew that wasn't going to be something you subscribe to. So thank you very much for still appearing on my show, Christian. That meant a lot to me, mate.
Thank you.
Now, I've got a couple of questions. You've got a book coming out. Tell me a bit about the book.
Yes. So the book, I won't go into too much depth, but I'll tell you briefly. So like I said, my father died when I was 6 years old, okay? So my father wrote a diary for the last 4 years of his life. What many people might not know, my father was struggling with a lot of mental battles, okay? And he documented a lot of his emotions and so forth in this diary. This diary has been kept for me. I've had this diary for many years, but I just didn't feel like it was the right time to read it. Excuse me.
Wow.
During on his anniversary of his death last year, I thought today is the day I'm going to read his diary. So I started reading his diary. I finished reading his diary on a flight to Singapore, and I got inspired to write the book and to tell his story because not many people knew. What was quite peculiar after I read that book was during reading the book, actually, my father went through a lot of struggles I just didn't understand. Like, you know, he was like going through emotional pain. And like I said, I was brought up with like a hard mentality. I'm a bodybuilder. I don't feel these emotions. And that's how I was. And I just didn't understand this kind of mindset. After I read the book, almost in sequence, it was like I was experiencing the same kind of emotional stress and difficulties my father was going through. It was almost like, it was so bizarre. I felt like I read the book at the right time. I felt like the book was handed to me to help me get through
Years difference was that? Because that's amazing, and I believe
situations in my life. Okay. So then, as I was,
sorry, it's breaking.
Sorry, what
out.
was that?
Sorry, it was breaking out, so I was kind of cutting out. So sorry if I interrupted you. How many years from when you had the book to when you read it? How many years apart was that?
It was years. Well, I knew my father wrote the diary from when I was young. My auntie had the diary. I believe she's the only person who read the diary. So she said it's ready for when you want it. From the moment she gave it to me, when I asked for it, I still didn't read it for like 2 years. Wow. It was in my suitcase, and I walked past, and it would like always, it would own to me. I knew it was there. I felt it. It was like there. But I was like, one time I picked it up and I started, and I was like, no, I'm not ready. But on his anniversary, I read the diary, and like I said, in sequence, it was like if you got handed to me, honestly. So the book I wrote now is a reflection of how my father's guided me, even though he hasn't been here, even though he died when I was 6 years old. And I start going through my story, and how I can relate to sections of the diary. And it's an incredible story, and it is a story, and I didn't even know how it was going. It was nothing like planned to write in regards to I'm going to come up with a beginning, a middle, and end, but it seemed to flow. And honestly, I don't know where. I've never wrote I've been reading you a book, by the way, and I'm really enjoying it. Very good. I've been reading while I've been doing my morning cardio on the bike. So I don't know where it was coming from, but I was just writing. It was like the words were just flowing. So it's a very inspiring book, and it's going to help many young men, and men in particular, even women, be comfortable expressing themselves. Because I will be honest, in this book, I have exposed a lot of my deep feelings and my emotional stresses and the things I've gone through. So I put myself in a very vulnerable position. And when I wrote the book, I started thinking, should I share this information with other people? And that me thinking that alone was enough for me to say, yes, you should, because that is the very reason you got inspired to write this book, because people, one in particular, your father and many other men, go to the grave keeping these things inside. And I honestly think if my father had expressed more of his feelings, like he did in the book, to other people, he might have still been here today. That's the truth.
I can't wait to read the book, Christian. I cannot wait. Now, an interesting fact that most people don't know or might not appreciate of the severity of the mindset or dedication for a bodybuilder. Before you're about to compete, you have to eat every 2 to 3 hours, don't you?
Yeah. Sometimes you eat not at all. I mean, I think with the bodybuilding, you have to be in the mindset of do whatever it takes. And that could mean eating every 2 hours. That could mean eating like 700 calories a day and when 4 hours of weight training and 4 hours of working out. But yeah, there's been times where I've done like every 2 hours around the clock. So
and it's like fish, broccoli, or oats, or things along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, so one time, like I've done everything. I've done like extreme, like everything is extreme. You know, when you want extreme results, you got to do extreme measures, right? You know, that's just what it takes. So at one time, I started doing a preparation, and for the last 8 weeks before the competition, all I ate was 200 grams of white fish, broccoli, green beans, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil, MCT oil. I ate this for 6 meals a day. So 8 a.m., 10:30, 6 meals a day, every single day for 8 weeks straight. And honestly, when I say this, I mean, I didn't have one little bite of a grain of rice. I didn't have one cup of coffee. I didn't have one whey protein shake, one diet drink. It was not only did I not have any clean food or bad food, I just didn't eat anything apart from this one meal, 6 meals a day, 8 weeks straight. And the best thing is, like I said, I mentioned, I ate it fish and I was smelling of fish. Can you imagine, like 6 meals a day for 8 weeks straight? Everywhere I was going, people were like, you know, have you been eating fish? And I was like, oh man, this is just rank. But I was so focused on getting to a result that we did, and it was successful. The downside was when we obviously get a muscle mass expanded full of glycogen, I'd not eaten carbohydrates for so long, my body just wasn't taking them. So I had to keep eating, and I was eating like probably up to 1,000 grams of carbohydrates, and it just wasn't doing any difference to my body. So the downside, when I did compete, although my condition was good and I looked big and full, my stomach was distended from eating so much towards the end. So the next preparation, which was for the British finals, my coach was like, okay, I think we'll solve this problem with the stomach. Rather than eating big meals, let's bring your meals down by 50%, but we'll double them. So you're eating 12 meals a day, every 2 hours, for 5 days straight. So that means I was eating like 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m. for 5 days. So the most sleep I ever had in them 5 days was like an hour and 50 minutes sleep. Set my alarm, wake up, I would eat, and I would go back to sleep. I would do this for 5 days.
Well, that's all. Look, I think anything extreme. It's like when you heard to be great, you've got to be insane to your craft. Conor McGregor said that as well. And it's like with any sport, you need to be crazy and just you need to be crazy with your craft. So thanks a lot for sharing that. Are you ready for the quick fire questions, Christian? I think it's gone. I think it's crashed at the moment. He will be back in 1 second.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, let's fire away.
Let me do this, right? I got it.
All right, cool.
I think it's my end, yeah.
Now, quick. Do you have any pets?
Yes, I got a French bulldog.
I know the answer because I see you walking all the time. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is red. Boof, bull mode.
Yeah, that makes sense. The bull always attacks the red. What's your favorite TV show?
Oh, I don't really watch TV shows, but Top Gear.
Okay, you can say past anything you want as well. iPhone or Android? iPhone or Android?
Android.
Who was your role model growing up?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm not even going to say if you watch Pumping Iron, but gee, I've watched that so many times and it has me in stitches every time. The way he talks about training, how obsessed he is about everything he does, and he even said it in that movie. I'm going to conquer bodybuilding. I'm going to conquer this and that, and did everything.
Did you know on that? Can I touch on this? Right? Did you know that was a docudrama? So they did a 25-year reunion, right? Which I didn't know was a docudrama. So part of it was made up for entertainment purposes. So you know the bit where he said like his father died, and you know that wasn't even him. That was somebody else. He was just pretending to make his character look more like Terminator. So I was living my life like that. There'd be girlfriends come up and I'd be like, no, I'm not going to the funeral, because it was like a lot of it was, you know.
Yeah, a lot of it was not going to the funeral. There's nothing I can do. But he was just so obsessed in his goal. And look, to win, I think 7 Olympias he won. 6. No, 7.
7. 7 Olympias. Came back in 85.
6 was Dorian Yates. Dorian Yates won 6. I remember. Yeah, as I said, I love the sport of bodybuilding. Now, describe yourself in 3 words.
Disciplined, determined, driven.
3 Ds. What annoys you the most? Give me a pet peeve.
The truth, just people making excuses.
That's true. Well, I hate that too. Best piece of advice you've ever received?
You can do anything you want to do as long as you're willing to do it.
As long as you're willing to do the work. Cool. If you could have, this is going to be a great one for you. If you can have one last meal, Christian, what would it be?
With my family.
What would you eat?
I would eat, well, it'd have to be a burger, wouldn't it?
Now, if you left the house and it was on fire and you had to run back in to get 2 things, what would you get?
Ooh.
And I'm assuming your family's out.
What would I get? I would get obviously my dog,
Yep.
and I would get just get my dog and my book that I wrote.
Oh, good. So that's your father's thing. That's very important. Name one
But
book.
can I just jump in there? One quick thing before we jump in.
Yeah.
Just so you know, right? The question there. My father actually died in a fire, and you know how he died? He died because he got out of the flat that was on fire, and he went back in to rescue his budgie and to save his paintings, and he died. So that's quite crazy, right?
That's insane. Well,
Yeah.
I definitely didn't know that because I wouldn't have asked that question. So sorry.
Okay, let's go. Another one.
If, name one book that's positively influenced you.
Build Your Wealth, Build Your Path to Wealth, Brick by Brick.
Thank you very much, sir. That's how I get that a bit. Thanks. Besides that one, give me one more.
Besides this one, positively influenced me. I would say The Psychology of Selling by Brian. What's his name? But it's Psychology of Selling. Brian.
Not Brian Tracy. The Psychology of
Yes,
Selling.
Brian Tracy.
Yeah. I've did his course. Now, who would play you in a movie of your life? Who would play you in a movie for the role of your life? Which actor?
Probably like Danny DeVito because my height.
He's not in shape enough. Though. What about Franco?
What about who?
Frank Colombo.
Yeah, he's dead now, though, isn't he? You have to bring him back. Yeah,
his physique was amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, incredible.
Even Sean Ray were my favorite 200 pounds. Any tattoos? If so, where?
I've got this tattoo on my arm, which is 1987, in the heart of creation. The artist lives within. 1987 was when I was born. In the art of creation was when I was created. And the artist, my father, because he was a painter, artist lives within his signature. So I've got this on my sleeve. I've got this one all the way up like a nice tribal dragon. And I've got one on my butt. Swansea Road boy. When I was young, you know, you like when you go on a boys' holiday and you wake up with a tattoo. It was one of them ones.
You know what's funny about this conversation? I have to intervene. I said to my PA, I'm talking about the questions. We've got to make them better. I go, do you think the tat one's relevant? And she goes, yes. I go, why? One day someone's going to come up with a funny story. That conversation I had yesterday. Out of all my podcasts, you're the only one that came up with a funny story. So she's going to find that awesome. Best gift you've ever received?
Best gift I ever received. Wow. Okay, guitar from... again, it was, I keep going back to the story, but again, it was my father's guitar. He was a musician, and I've got this guitar. It's like up on the wall. Probably the best gift I got given.
If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Time travel.
To travel. If you could have dinner with 3 people, they could be alive or they could have passed, who would you have at your dinner table? 3 people.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has to be one. It's gonna be 3 of the best. It's gonna be Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
That'll be a great table. Now, if you weren't in bodybuilding, and training people around the world, what would you be doing?
I think I would be in the army, to be honest. I think I would suit like military mindset.
Now, from this whole episode, you've given so much good information about yourself, about bodybuilding, about mindset, about nutrition. If you want someone to take 2-3 key takeaways from this discussion, what would they be?
Okay. That you can achieve whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
One, hard work pays off. And what got you here won't necessarily get you there. So always be willing to open and expand.
I like saying that a lot too. Whatever got you to this level, you need the next stage of, whether it's bodybuilding, whether it's business, whether it's any sport, it's the same. On a scale from 1 to 10, Christian, last question, how much have you enjoyed this podcast?
On a 11.
Thank you, sir. Christian, you're an absolute gentleman, mate. I hope you get better. Keep doing
Thank
what
you very much.
All your posts are inspiring. The transformation you're getting for people around the world's awesome. If people want to follow you, how will they get in touch with you?
You can reach out to me through Instagram at Christian Williams PT, my website, Christian Williams PT, my Facebook, don't laugh, my Facebook is Christian Williams. I was given these powers, I didn't ask for them. And you can email me at coach@christianwilliamspt.com. It's all Christian Williams.
And I'm going to have everything on the bottom for those. So your middle name's William?
William, yeah.
Mine's Chris Christophe, man. So there you go. So
No, it's great.
Name, there you go. So thank you very much as always, mate. I hope you get well soon. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I love your posts and I love everything you do. Thanks, Christian.
Thank you.